All right. We're live. Ooh, my lighting is bad in here. Guys, I'm so sorry. I am late. What's up, IG? What's up, YouTube? I'm so sorry I'm late. My kids are having a play date. Well, one friend is over, and they're afraid of dogs. So I have the dogs in my bedroom, and they're coming out into the studio, making noise and bark. They've been barking nonstop for like 10 minutes. I couldn't get on. Okay, but we're here. We made it. I'm probably going to make this a really short video and probably do it again another time with more meat and information, just because I have a feeling I'm going to have a bunch of kids knocking on my door asking for stuff. Okay, so woosah, it's Friday. So today's Friday hot topic is homeschooling with multiple ages. I was rushing to get this stuff going, guys. I had no real thumbnail. Look, I'm just a mess, but we're here. Let me have some of my cold turmeric tea. If y'all notice, I'm now using my left arm because my physical therapy has been working very well. Let me know if y'all think this is cheesy. I was like, you know what? Friday hot topics. This is where we break bread. You know how you break bread before you like dive into the meal and have community with your fellow peeps? So let me know if this is corny. Otherwise, I'm going to keep it here in the back to signal that we are starting Friday hot topics. Oh, Lord, you don't want the bread to fall down, baby. That's not good. All right, you sit right there, right there. All right. So first off, hey, Diana. Oh, you love it? Okay, so the baguette will stay. I'll just figure out how to manipulate it so it's not all over the. Oh, come on, baggy. All right, what's up, home wife, mom crafter, Moho or Mojo, Nadia, Adina Adventures. For those of you who are, you think it's cute, honey wife, mom, thank you. So I'm gonna keep it. So those of you who don't know, I am streaming on YouTube and IG. And when I figure out how to make that look really seamless, y'all will know. But real quickly, because we had almost 200 people last week in the live, and that includes the people who joined the live, but then they went to the beginning of the video and started watching at the beginning during the live video. So I count those. So almost 200, that means you get a freebie. So today's freebie, it's in the description box below. If you're on IG, you got to mosey on over to my YouTube page. My video is going to pop up because it's live, and go into the description box, and then it'll say download your kids weekly planner. I just gave it a name, but this is what it is. So I made this today. I actually had something similar to this when my middle son, who's on the autism spectrum, when he had ABA therapy, and we were working with moving him to be more independent. But then when I saw this, I was like, this is for the world. It's not just for kids who need some extra special help. So you can go down and click this. It is a number of pages. Actually, I'm going to do another video probably this weekend on how I use this. I just wanted to get it out to you guys. It's your weekly assignment tracker, your basic stuff, subject, what week you're in, the materials you need. And then right here, this is how, and this ties into today's topic. How do you homeschool multiple grades, kids, ages, all of that. So for your older kids, I would say third grade and up, this is something for them to do. It might look ugly in the beginning because you got to plan and get it going. And we'll get into that in a moment. But and guys, I did not secure this file. It is editable because I know you're going to want to put down the rewards and the kinds of things your child is interested in. So it is not secure. So you can edit this to your heart's content. So it just shows they're going to mark what they're going to do when they get a break. And see, at the bottom is the time tracker. I do breaks with my kid. I just put 30 minutes here because I knew this was going to be editable. You can put the time increments or intervals that your child's going to work. In the beginning, my child was working 3 to 5 minutes, and then he had a break. So you might do 3 minutes, 5, 10, 15, whatever. Maybe you want to get 45 minutes in of a subject. So you would just break it up until it's 45 minutes with the breaks included. And then your child will just mark off. Once they've done 30 minutes, mark that off, and they start their break. They do the break, come back, mark off the break, go on to the next one. And so I have that for each day of the week. Now, what I did with my kid, I just kept this in a binder. So, oh, that's Monday again. Actually, this is my old copy. I didn't print out the latest one, but you get the point. So all the way through to Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Sunday, okay? And so what you can do, you can just hole punch this, put it in a binder or page protectors. And I'm gonna make some more of these, and I am gonna put this in my shop. You can also alternately cut each day and then staple it. And then your child can, if your child wants to chunk the information, like wants to see one day at a time, that's what they can do. But that's for you. That's free. Hey, Muna, I got your audio. I'm on it, baby. I have not forgotten about you. I'm playing catch up. I hope you're doing well, though. So this is for you. It's free. I am going to do a video on this. I'm going to show you examples of how I've used it, everything filled in, so you get an idea of how you can manipulate this for your kids. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so homeschooling, multiple grades and ages. So first of all, now in the description box, I have one of my more popular videos that talks about that very thing. And I actually show you things you can actually do. I show you manipulatives, boxes, everything, okay? So I'm kind of naked today. So we'll probably do another one, maybe in my homeschool room, and I can show you what the things actually look like in our household. Okay, so, okay, now, oh, thank you, Muna. Okay, so listen, when you're homeschooling multiple grades, multiple ages, and just multiple kids, the main thing, if you don't take away anything from tonight, is to have a plan. And I don't always say, but I always make the reference back to Kate Plus 8, that old show like from 10, 15 years ago. Now, she was neurotic about it, but she was on the right path. She was super uber organized, and she had a plan for everything: the bathroom, the bedroom, the closet, the garage, the kitchen, everything. Why? Well, number one, she had like 200 kids, 8 kids. But 2, if everything has a purpose, you don't have to keep telling your kids what to do. They'll eventually know what the purpose is, and they don't bombard you with a whole bunch of questions while you're trying to teach, your other child. So my main takeaway is to have a plan, which is one reason why I made this, but this is really for the homeschooling with special needs video. This is to help the children with their executive functioning skills. But remember, I'm going to do a video just on this, and I'll talk more about that. But for the planning, the plan is to be able to have your children, the older children, work autonomously, independently, while you work with your younger children, or you work with your children who do have special needs, or who just, maybe they're struggling in a subject and they just need a little bit of extra help, or you're using a curriculum that is teacher intensive and you have to be there the whole time. That's why you want your plan. Now, I'm gonna give you like a couple of practical tips for how to establish your plan, okay? Now, first off, you gotta get your mind right because your kids feed off of you. So if you wake up in the morning and you're in a bad mood, attitude, or whatever, your kids pick up on that, and then you might put that boogie monster on your kids, and then the whole day never gets off on a good start. So the first thing first, wake up, and whatever you need to do, get yourself in a good state of mind. Now, to plan. Okay, so whether you got little babies, toddlers, middle school, elementary, high school, kids with issues, doesn't matter. First things first, you're going to write down, like in a column. Oh, I should have used my streaming service so I can write it out for you. You're going to write down all of your kids, right? Their names going across the column. And you're going to write their personalities, what they're like. One kid could be shy, doesn't take initiative. Another child loves to write. They, they're like the go-getters, the ones that's always raising their hand in class. You know, they don't need that much direction, or they can take direction easily. And then you have the child that once they get going, they're fine. They just, you know, sometimes have to be told something 2 or 3 times. And then you have, say, maybe your little babies and stuff like that. Okay. So you don't write down like, okay, well, this one's teething. This one's going through terrible twos. This one takes naps around 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Just all your kids, write down their little personalities, their little, how they are, because that's very important when you start planning your day, okay? Now, once you get that done, it doesn't have to be neat or crazy or anything like that. You just need to see, when you see how the temperament of your kids and what their strengths and weaknesses are, it'll be easier when you start, oh, I got to have a planning video. I got to have a planning video. It'll be easier to tag team kids when you really know their personalities and their strengths and weaknesses, okay? I mean, look at some of these comments. Keeper of my home. Hey, girl, what's going on? Yes, I have a plan. I need to work on getting organized. Yes, and I have 4 kiddos, ages 8, 6, 4, 3, and 2. Mama, you are in it. This video is for you. I always appreciate your tips. Thank you. You are so welcome. Okay. Yes. Hey, Jamila. Hey, Turf. Good to see you. My goodness. For all of my homeschool moms who are into gardening, Turf Therapy, he's in our chat. This brother is amazing. He not only gardens, he's a homesteader. He makes wine, all kinds of stuff. And I need some wine right now. Okay. So the plan, you got to do reconnaissance on your kids and be honest about what your kids are really like. If you got a kid that's always surly, talks back, gives you grief, you need to write all of that down. And I'm gonna show you how that comes into play. Okay, so now that we have the dossier on the kids, set that aside. Now, these are the practical things that you're going to do to be prepared for all those different personalities and temperaments and souls and spirits in your house. My number one, y'all, without fail, I'm telling you, this is always worked for me. This is my clutch. I don't care about screen time and all that stuff. My number one tip for homeschooling children with multiple grades, ages, and stages is online anything. Let me tell you what. You're going to have online classes, online games, or online movies / educational films, documentaries. It's all online. Why? Okay. We're going to get past, the screen time and all of that, because when you're deep in the trenches, you just need to know your child is getting something, okay? When you're overwhelmed, always go back to your 3 basic R's: reading, writing, and math, okay? If nothing else, those 3 things will help your child be successful in life, okay? And so when you're doing online approaches, you can cover those 3 basics while you're working with other children, or you might even work from home in addition to working with multiple ages and grades. So that's really going to help you out. So first things first, OutSchool. Outschool.com. Outschool.com has been around for a number of years. I've told all my homeschooling families about this, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Go and check that out, outschool.com. OutSchool has classes that are one day. It just lasts one day, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 20 minutes. The classes can last a week, a semester, a number of weeks. It could be recurring every week. They're so fun. My kids have taken classes on Egyptian M&Ms math, or geometry with M&Ms, or Skittles math, or a cooking class. If we're doing history, they can take a cooking class. We're about to start studying ancient India. They have actually 3 Indian cooking classes on there right now. I just checked today, and it's perfect. Different grade levels, so you can find something for each child. The prices are pretty reasonable. I really find that they're very reasonable, and I found that a lot of the teachers, if they don't have times or dates that are available, and if you know of any other moms, or if you have a number of kids, you can talk to the teacher and you can do some negotiating, because a lot of times the teacher just really needs to make some money, and they would rather have at least some kids than no kids. So that is my number one tip. It's not OutSchool, but OutSchool is one of it, because online, it is what it is. Online approaches, whether it's, you know, games, all of that, really draws your kids in and it holds their attention. So the thing is, you want it to be good material that you're depositing into them while they're interacting with that screen. So for OutSchool, those would be your classes, okay? Like my son right now is doing a Dungeons and Dragon class. He's in it right now. My other kids have done robotics. We've done spelling. We've done multiplication. We've done long division. It's also a great way if you need to shore up a weakness with your child. Maybe your child is weak with fractions or phonics or grammar, certain elements of grammar, or essay writing, persuasive writing. It can be very specific. And then you have classes like on money management, baking, jewelry making. I mean, the sky is the limit. So those classes, sometimes you have to watch the teacher, you know, make sure they have some reviews, because the last thing you want is your child not engaged with the teacher, and then your child is pulling on you while you're teaching Spanish to your 8-year-old, talking about, I'm bored, I don't like it. So make sure they have some reviews, and then start making a list, you know, a collection list, you know, what, you know, you like, you can like each kind of class, and then find the pattern. Maybe you want academic content, or maybe you want extracurricular content. So decide on that. So for online stuff, I have that. Then let's move on to like more solid online classes. Some of my favorite classes that I've done consistently since my oldest son was in 5th grade is Online G3, Athena's Academy, Groovy Kids Online. Although last semester, I don't think they have their classes. I needed someone check if Groovy Kids Online. We did the history of chocolate. We did a Harry Potter genetics one. They're very fun classes, and the books are very good books. But those classes, I choose those because they consistently provide great teachers with great content, and I'm always pleased with those classes, okay? So, and you know, and I'll link all of those online resources down below. Now, those are for your older kids, 3rd grade and up, okay? Now, for your younger kids, you have things like Reading Eggs, Brain Pop. Brain Pop is a really popular one. Brain Pop is, now all of these things I've been telling you about cost. Now, Brain Pop, there are free versions where you don't get as much access, but I might have to make a Patreon account and show y'all. Yeah. To people who might want to sponsor me, yeah, totally paying. But there are ways where you can get the content, and it's fair for everybody. So I'll just put it like that. So you have online classes for the younger ones, the little Reading Eggs, the ABC Mouse, okay? Go ahead, think of what your budget's going to be and which children are going to need the most help, okay? And then go ahead and set up an account if you will. Try the free trials, but start all of them. If you're going to do a number of classes, start the free trials around the same time so they all end around the same time so you're not scrambling. So online classes, online educational games, right? Also online, movies, documentaries, and shows. Now, this is probably your best bet because this can be free for you. Now, what you want to do, you have 2 options. I'm sorry. Oh, hey sis, how you doing? Oh, hold on, guys. I have all these comments. Hey, this is the hardest part of me putting things down. Yes. Okay. So Muna, if you're talking about your kids and writing down their personalities, you don't have to do it all in one time. Just depending on how many kids you have, just do 1 kid a day. So you can really sit and think about it and just jot it down. Okay. And I'm going to come back around to why you need to know this, okay? Great idea. I could use an online curriculum for my third grader. And moms and dads, if your child is using something or has used something in the past that's online, share it, because I want to cobble together all of these resources so we have access to them. I know when COVID first started, there was a mom who put this massive list of free resources. I'll link that down below after the live. But there is a lot of free stuff out there. Also, the great courses, MIT Open Courseware for your older children or your very motivated children. They have lots of great courses. Harvard has free courses as well. TEDx. So there's a lot out there. Now I'm talking about for your third and up, okay? Because we're wanting to start to train them to work independently, at least in increments, until they can work longer and longer and longer and not really need your support as much, okay? For your younger ones, and I'm a little bit all over the place, guys. Sorry about that. For your younger ones, what I did, and I'll go back to the online stuff, but for the younger ones, I did Montessori. Now, I didn't do the school, like an actual physical school. I read up on it, and I love the concept of children being able to feed themselves and to cut their food, serve themselves at age 2. And what I did, and I actually have on my old channel, I'll try to put that video up. The quality is really bad. Like a little shelf or a shelf in your cabinet in your kitchen, and in the morning, that's your hot spot. That's when things get crazy. And you're going to model this with your kids. So say for your younger ones, say second grade and below, okay? For breakfast, everything they need for breakfast is on a shelf or on the counter, maybe on a tray. So they know that everything that they need is right there. You have the bowl. I have a measuring cup. They take the milk, or you can pre-measure everything and they just get it out the refrigerator, whatever you feel comfortable with. But if your kid is maybe a little older, then they can pour everything in a predetermined measuring cup. And then if they have cereal, granola, or yogurt, you can put them in little bags or little containers, and then they can just put it all together themselves. And then once they get used to that, and they're not, dropping stuff on the floor and spilling stuff, you can, back off and let them do more of retrieving things to put their breakfast together or their lunch together. But if you start them young, just the fact of them just being able to get something to drink and just pour it, or being able to get a favorite kind of snack, being able to cut the cheese, little cube cheese, things like that, with some granola or some celery and peanut butter, put a little peanut butter in a little container with a little butter knife. These kids can do this. Y'all know, especially if you have moms who worked or if you had a single mom, you guys are making Thanksgiving dinner like every Monday through Wednesday at home, because you had to do what you had to do as a kid. So that helps with your children not coming to you for everything. I can't open the goldfish container, or, I'm hungry. They know where to go, what to get, how to get it, and then eat and be done. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to hit the younger kids, because I'm always talking about the older kids. Also, let me hit the younger kids one more time. A busy box. Your busy box will be your best friend, because your younger kids are always going to come to you right when your child is struggling with the hardest thing, or when they're really frustrated and you really can't go take care of that other kid, because that kid is going to be gone. Or they're going to be so out of it, and just they're going to check out, that you're not going to be able to get them to reel them back in. So the busy boxes are just any kind of container. You go to the dollar store, or you find things around the house, because we know kids find joy in rubber bands, boxes, stuff on the floor, and you put all that stuff in a box. Not all of it, but maybe like 5 or 6 things. And when you need to take that hammer and break that emergency glass because things are real crazy, and you pull out that busy box and shake it, and you just set it down, you moonwalk away, and then you let your child go in there and explore for however long that takes. And if you got like 5 or 6 things, That should buy you like maybe 10, 15 minutes if you're lucky, okay? Now, back to the online stuff. Okay, so you have lots of classes your child can take. Now, if you want free, there are lots of free games you can do. Now, the thing is, you're not going to have all the different versions, but you need just enough. You really need like 20 minutes, okay, to be able to work with a child to kind of get them over a hump, right? Or to teach something so then they can go work on their own. So you're looking at how much time is this distraction going to earn me so I can work with this child, okay? Now, the reason why I suggested the online things is because, excuse me, if you really have to work with your child for longer than, say, 20 minutes, if the material is challenging for you as well as for them, you know, if you can have your child on something that's online, say reading aids, and then when they're done, they can go to their busy box, and then after that, they can go have a snack. You bought yourself a lot of time to work with, you know, your other children. So you're gonna put all that in rotation, okay? So let me do some more comments. I know I'm zooming through this, guys. Okay, I started Montessori with my son when he was 1. He's 2 now and is so independent. People think he's older. Exactly. I was seeing kids who were, they were almost baking bread in the oven. I was like, oh my goodness. But you know, just like in Africa, now it's popular here in America, but they have that elimination communication where you have kids, babies who are like 5, 6, 7 months, and they're potty trained already. So you can do it, but it's the planning part. You have to prepare. You have to put that time in. Give yourself like a good month to get a rhythm and a flow, to be able to buy some things for your busy boxes, to get those free subscriptions with the trials, or if you're sold on it, to go ahead and sign up for some of those online resources. And then after that, my other online resource is movies, documentaries, and shows. Now, the free versions are going to be really just YouTube. YouTube has so much, guys. There's so much on YouTube that, you know, Netflix and Amazon, if you don't use that, you're fine. Now, on YouTube, you can make playlists. You do have to have an account. So if you're on here watching me, you probably have an account, hopefully. And then on your channel or on your account, anytime you see a video, you can click save. Let me see if it's on here. I forget what it is. I think you click save, and then it'll have a playlist, and then you can create a playlist. So I would make a playlist for history, math, science, English language arts. Now, with those 4 categories, oh, and then 5, just have fun. Just like maybe just your child's really favorite stuff. You know, that's your trump card when you just really they don't want to learn. They just need to be in something that they really like. For science, on my playlist for science, I have Bill Nye Science Guy. I have some PBS Star Talks with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have some TED Talk stuff, World Science Festival. I have songs about, you know, parts of the body system. So I have the gamut from videos that are like maybe 5 or 6 minutes to like an hour plus long video. So put that in a playlist. History is great. National Geographic has lots of free stuff. You have the Science Channel, the History Channel. They all have a lot of things so you can build up your playlist. For history, if you're studying the medieval ages, you go crazy with that. For math, so many teachers have a lot of great videos out there. Go ahead and start. Even Khan has some videos as well, Khan Academy. Start putting, if your child's working on fractions or division or exponents or algebra or something like that, go find those. This is the planning process, guys. Go get those videos. Make sure you watch them. Please watch them, because then you don't make my mistake. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I want her to teach it like that. Or, you know, maybe it was boring. So watch it and then make those playlists, okay? And have that on hand ready to go, okay? Those will buy you, that's the biggest bang for your buck. It's free. And then you have, it's a loop. They can just watch video after video after video and give them some little healthy snacks and let them have at it so you can get some teaching done with your other children. Okay, there's no shame in all this. Okay, you do what you got to do. Now, also, my next thing is, and this is actually really popular in my household. I didn't know there was a name to this until like maybe a few years ago. It's called game schooling. Game schooling is basically where you learn through playing games. And there are all kinds of games, not your, grandma games of life and Monopoly. There are so many kinds of games. We have a lot of games based on subjects. We have games that teach geography. National Geographic has a geography game. We have games that teach grammar. We have one that's called cooking up sentences. There are games for math, like SMAth is a popular one, or integers for your kids who are middle school and up. There are board games for every kind of subject you want to learn. You just got to Google it, go on Amazon, or if you're lucky enough to have a game store nearby, we have one, the Game Chest, and they have every kind of game. They have health games. They have history games. So there is a lot. As a matter of fact, that needs to be another video. We have over 40 board games. I'm not kidding. Plus other kinds of games. A Ticket to Ride is a really popular one for history. So now again, you got to plan. You got to do these games with your kids beforehand. And this is where your personality profile of your kids come in. Don't tell your kids, okay, sit down and play this game while I go work with Junior. And you got a child who gets frustrated if he loses, or if he gets, lands on something and then he throws the board game up. So you got to pair your children up wisely, or it could become a really big disaster. So if you got two kids who can barely read, don't give them a Ticket to Ride. Get the younger kid and an older kid who can, read very well and can kind of help them out. Okay. So that's when you want to start looking at your kids' temperaments, the impatient child versus the really patient one who will read everything and they know all the rules and everything. That's your little teacher sometimes. You want to pair those up properly with each other. Okay. So game schooling is just taking not just board games. I do dice games because they're portable. They're really fun. And you can do dice games I've done them with grammar and math, or like writing, basically, or storytelling, really, reading comprehension, if you will, where you have some dice with some prompts on it, you roll it, and then you got to tell some silly stories based on the prompts. And if you want to take it up a notch, you can have them record themselves while they're doing it, and then maybe they can write something later on about it. Tell them to be as silly as possible. Or when they're having to retell it, they have to do it in like a funny language, maybe a baby or a robot or a British person, or what a thief might sound like. Just make it fun and silly for them so they can really get into it and not think that they're learning. Okay, so definitely game schooling, any kind of game, get that in. I did a homeschool tour. I have a video on a tour I did. I don't know how much I focus on the games, but I have a basket right in the homeschool room. Some people have morning baskets. I have a game basket. So I have my 4 favorite games that are never fail: Connect 4, SMAth, the dice games, and chess. And they go right there. They do rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, and they have at it. So that is something that you can start looking for. Go on eBay, garage sales, maybe you can get it gifted from another family, but have a number of games to, cover the different age levels and the time that's involved with the game. Some games you can be done. Oh, as a matter of fact, if you go to one of my videos, I think it might be called Math Games or something like that. I don't know. If you go to my playlist on learning resources, I have a free game that I created myself. It's multiplication. And even with your younger kids, if you have an older kid who is very solid with their multiplication facts, they can help the younger one, okay? Because the game is really fun, and you roll the dice, and you do. So I'll leave a link down below. So if you don't want to buy any games, it's free. I have it on one of my videos. Go to my playlist on learning resources and look for multiplication. All you need is a pair of dice, okay? And then you can get going with that. All right, let's see. Yes, we are using games these days, a very easy way to learn subjects. Yes, and especially now, because a lot of kids are starting to feel really anxious and depressed, especially the older kids being in the house. Any way that you can foster some kind of social interaction with your family, do it. If you have an only child, then you're going to be that interaction, okay? And have fun with that, because you can make that work. So it's also building, in our household, we call it the brothership of the kings. So my sons are kings, and I ripped it off, Fellowship of the Rings from Lord of the Rings. But the brothership, I always tell them, you have to show brothership. If I'm on my dying bed and everything is coming down in fire and brimstone, the only thing I want to know is that you guys are going to show brothership and love to each other and take care of each other. And it starts now. So we always say, hey, you showing brothership? Was that a brothership move? Okay. So we want to foster, remember, homeschooling is not just about teaching subjects. It's also about cultivating life skills, a work ethic, values, and things like that in our children. So I think game schooling is a great way for them to problem solve, to work through things, to collab together. So that's a really great option right there. Okay, now for your younger ones who can't really play, give them some dice, y'all. It don't have to be complicated. While your older kids are playing, the little ones always want to do what the older ones are doing. So get you 2 sets of dice. One for the kids to play their game, and then one for the little babies. Make sure they ain't gonna choke on it, and let them sit, nearby, and just correspondence, was correspondence play, whatever, and just, let them play with their little dice like they think they're playing with them, so they can be incorporated and feel like they're part of it. Yes, story cubes. Story cubes is the dice. There are other ones, but story cubes, those are my favorite. They have, at the time when I bought them, they had 4 different versions of them. They were color coded, like blue, green, yellow, or something like that. And they all told a story. But I've actually bought story cubes, not the exact story cubes, but like a knockoff version. They're smaller. I bought them from the Dollar Tree, not the Dollar General, but the Dollar Tree. And actually, I got a video on that. Y'all need to check out my other videos. I did a video on math dice, or it's in my playlist under learning resources, okay? I do a video on I show you everything. I show you all the dice and where I got it from. It's like $1. Get at least 2, be on the safe side, because kids lose dice. And put that in your arsenal, okay? That's part of the planning process. We're preparing everything, okay? All right. Now, one thing that has helped my children really be independent and to work on their executive functioning skills, okay? We talked a little bit about this in last week's hot topic under special needs. Executive functioning skills, also known as EF skills. It's for everybody. Work boxes. Work boxes will help. That will help your child and you so much. I am going to have to do a follow-up video on that so you know what they look like. But in a nutshell, work boxes, they're typically drawers, but it can be file folders. Hold on, let me show you. Now, I don't use this for a work box. This is for my YouTube stuff, but if you don't have the space, or if you don't want to shell out money, let me make sure I got my name on here somewhere, like my ID. Okay. If you don't want to shell out money for those expensive, drawers and stuff from Michaels and Joann's, get you something like this. Okay. And for each subject is a folder. All right. And everything that child is going to do for that day goes in the folder. Okay. So say math, reading, spelling, writing, science. If you do a lot of worksheets, put them in here. If you have like you want them to watch something or do something, then you write the sticky and you put it here so they can see it, so it sticks up, so they can pull it and go, oh, okay, mom wants us to watch constellations in the southern hemisphere on PBS. And then they go to, because you have it in your playlist, and they can go and show them how to get to it, and they can go watch that, and so they know what they're doing. So a work box or a file system basically helps your child to know what all they have to do that day. So they don't keep coming up to you, Mom, what are we doing next? Mom, where's this or where is that? So you can put their books in here. Now, this is not going to really hold up if you put books in here. So you just just place it flat down, But everything they need for that day is here. So they don't have to keep looking for you for anything. It's all in arm's reach, okay? So work boxes are a great way for your child to not come to you asking what's next. They can do for us, they can do their work boxes in any order. And then on our work boxes, I have a little sticky that says done. So when they've done the work, they move the Velcro sticker that says the subject here. Over here, I have like done and then a little Velcro sticker. Sorry, IG. And they just move, say, grammar. They pull that sticker and then they stick it here and it says done. So if I walk through the house at a glance, I can see if I can see how much my child has done or ain't done. So that's another one. So work boxes, I have a video on work boxes. Go back into my archives and I don't know what I have it under. Just put in work boxes on my homepage and it'll come up. All right, I build the games into our unit studies and on fun Fridays. That's a great ideal, Monument Mom. You know what? A lot of times we get stuck in that traditional school schedule, 9 or 8 to 3 or something, Monday through Friday. You don't have to do it like that. We don't homeschool on Fridays. Fridays are our life skills day. Now we did do, we're doing interactive notebooks. And so we use part of Friday to do that. But Fridays can be, the day where you start training them. Like, okay, this is where you go to get your little breakfast or to make your lunch. This is how you get into Amazon or Netflix. These are the passwords. Hide the password somewhere, if you need to keep doing passwords to get in on the TV. But you have everything ready to go. Maybe tape the passwords or the logins on the side of the TV or on every device, right? So Fridays can be when they're playing games, start introducing them to different games, make special foods or snacks just for that day, whichever day you want to choose. But use that to kind of start preparing your troops, right? So then once, you start getting into the full swing of homeschool, your kids kind of have an idea of what they need to do. It might look ugly at first, but let it be ugly until they figure it out and get going with it, okay? It don't have to be perfect. Please, it does not have to be perfect. You're going to go crazy. And then the next video will be homeschool burnout. All right, let's see. Group learning. Unit studies. Who says something about unit studies? Monument Mom. Yes, you were reading my mind. Unit studies. We are doing that right now with science. Unit studies I found are best with science and history because the skill set doesn't matter with your kids. Obviously for math, the skill set's going to be different, so it's hard to teach together. But for those subjects where there is no skill set required, and that's typically science, your social sciences and science, you can get all your kids together. So, you got the baby on your lap, you got the preschooler coloring, you got your older kids reading, the elementary kids are like maybe cutting up the stuff or gluing or whatever. And it can be totally hands-on. It's going to be loud. It's going to be messy, whatever. But you're just kind of training your children to being able to work together and to be comfortable working with different ages, right? Because in a public school, private school, they're always working within 1 or 2 years of their age range, right? But at home, the older one now can start showing some empathy and patience to the younger siblings or to the baby. And then the the younger ones can start paying attention and giving some merit to the older kids, listening to them. So you're also wanting to, build that cohesiveness in your family. So that patchwork of all y'all together, what they say, the gestalt, the whole is greater than the parts combined. So you kind of want something like that. All right, I've totally been skipping over these comments. Sums in space for addition and subtraction. Jamila, what do you mean? Sums in space? Is that a game? I need to get it then. Okay, we're using games. So we talked about Montessori, game schooling, work boxes, online classes, online games, online documentaries, movies, videos. As a matter of fact, my son did a class, my oldest one did a class about a year or so ago. He did 3 of them through online G3. And I love this format. One of them was science fiction or science, something through science fiction films. And so they went through like how different themes. Okay, I forgot what it was about, but the movie list was 1984, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit. So it was almost like dystopian versus utopian societies. Oh yeah, it was societies. It was something societies, and it showed all these different films, but it had a theme and then like a little synopsis, so you understood the arc of the films you were watching and the through line of all the films. And then he did one on world history or U.S. history through films or through movies, and that's free. You can go to online G3 right now, go pull up Society or look at their schedule and look at their past schedules, look at all the movies they list, and then you go to YouTube and just find all those movies. A lot of them you can find for free online. Or you might have to, YouTube also has movies that are like $3.99 to rent. So if you can't find them free, then you can go ahead and rent them. But make your playlist, and boom, you have something for the whole semester. And that's what he did. Okay, so those are some other options. Let's see. Any other questions? First grade game for sums in space. Okay, I think I remember that game. If you can, create a Tinker box or Makerspace box. What that is all the odds and ends, cardboard, pipe, straws, all of that stuff, glue, hot glue gun. Teach your kid how to use the hot glue gun properly, because they can do that. You put all that in a box, googly eyes, whatever, snap circuits, things where they are tinkering with their hands and their minds, right? Not only are you getting that hand-mind connection, you're also working on those fine motor skills. And just because your kid can write fine doesn't mean their fine motor skills are like that. In Europe, they have a huge problem with doctors who can't do surgery for longer than an hour because they don't have any strength, and they don't have any finger strength. So you always want to keep working those skills, those fine motor skills. So just tinkering, okay? That we just think it's tinkering. Your body gets so much more out of that than just the actual tinkering part. That will take. Your kids can tinker for hours, forever, okay? So take your time. You can Google things to put in a Tinker or Makerspace box. And I do have a video. I went to Lakeshore and I bought a Makerspace thing. And I think I showed some of the stuff I put into it. So if you just go back, and I'm wearing a mask, the only video where I'm wearing a mask, check that out. But the Makerspace Tinker box, I have Amazon boxes, paper towel, toilet paper rolls, glitter. I got everything. I got stuff that's broken. It's broken stuff from computers, all kinds of stuff. Just throw it in there. If you're about to put it in the trash, put it in the Tinker box, because it's probably going to be useful in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so those are some. That's another thing that you can do. Do you see the theme here? Ages and grades. You gotta be Houdini on a loop, on a buffet loop, right? You're doing a lot of distraction and redirection, okay? You want to redirect your child when they come up to you. You want to redirect them to something established for them. This child, you see them coming a mile away, or you know there's about to be a fit coming on, you know, pull out a little bag of some jacks or something, throw it to them, surprise them, and distract them. And oh, okay, thanks, mom. And then let them scurry over or do something. You want to be able to work with this child. Boom, that child go off, go have a break. Then work with that child, okay? You want to do an interval of one-on-one with group time, one-on-one with group time, and then put out fires as they come very sparingly, right? So you work with one child, you get to 20 minutes in, boom. Now the child that was, playing or reading, or maybe they're putting a little dance move together. If you got wiggly worms, or maybe they were reading or drawing, go grab that child, go get that work done, that one-on-one time with them. Then after that, maybe do something for the whole group, okay? And after that, maybe it's lunchtime. Then after that, maybe you guys can watch a documentary or something like that. It just depends on the vibe and how everything's going. But for especially your older children, where you feel you want to get that time in because the subjects are getting harder, there's a heavier course load, that's really going to be your saving grace. Don't be afraid to outsource some of the work, okay? Those classes I was telling you about earlier, I haven't taught math in years, okay? I put them in classes because, one, they can teach better than I can, and two, I know they're going to get quality instruction so many times a week, which frees me up while they're in class. It frees me up to work with my other kids. That's why I love that, because I don't have to worry about my child being neglected or getting something inferior, and I can take care of the other kids. Okay. My son will play with the cardboard, but will destroy the sensory beam. Isn't that what kids do? It's so funny because all these so-called special needs sensory, devices or what have you, and they're always expensive. You get the same result with something in your house or something that somebody threw away on their curb or something at the Goodwill. So it's like, man, let me just go with whatever is free. If there's something broken in the house, I don't throw it away. I put it in a box. Y'all should see our makerspace room. It's scary. All right. So we've got, the group learning. Unit studies are really great for that if you're not really down for unit studies. For writing, I know Brave Writer. It's a writing program. They're really, Julie Bogart, the creator of Brave Writer. We used that when I was homeschooling my first two children, and it was really fun. It was hands-on. It is a little teacher intensive, but once you kind of get your kids into like the tea time or the poetry reads, we kind of mix it up, they just got used to like, hey, on Wednesdays and Fridays, we go on the rug. It's like a little circle time, and this is what we do. So I was able to get the writing done with two kids at the same time while I had a toddler. And with the toddler, I would just get a whole bunch of crowns and, the fat little markers or whatever, and lots of butcher paper. I would tape the butcher paper down on the in the hallway, and he would just draw, no paint, but just draw and squiggle, whatever. A lot of stamping stuff for your younger kids, things that work their fine motor skills and keep them busy and kind of teach them is a gold mine. So I've gotten stamps, use those 40% off cards from Joann's or Michael's, get those alphabet stamps. Oh, I got all that stuff downstairs. And, have them stamp the alphabet. You write it out, and then they can find the letter and then stamp it. That'll take time. Sometimes you got to bribe. Okay, for every correct letter you stamp, you get one M&M or one grape, or, whatever you want to give them, if you want to give them something. But, that will keep them busy, So just, you don't have to spend money. If you can be creative, you can find things around the house. It's all about just doing it on a loop. You know, you got 20 minutes break. You're in the huddle. Go work with that child and use those 6, 7, 8, 9 tips that I gave you, and then switch to the next child and just keep, you know, cycling through your children until you're thoroughly exhausted or you got through enough of your subjects for that day. All right. Also, if possible, this goes back to the profile of your children. Get those older kids to teach those younger kids. You got a 3rd grader, 4th grader, and up. They can help with their alphabets, with counting to 5, helping them draw their name. You know, the younger ones, the older kids can help the younger ones draw their name in sand or write, or they can play with them. You know, they can roll the ball back and forth. You know, start incorporating your children. It's not slavery or anything like that. They're part of the family. And that's also going to foster, you know, kinship amongst your children. So those older ones, they can help out. My oldest one, let me tell y'all, my 14-year-old, he helps. Okay, I'm gonna be real. So my kids are in this, their math curriculum is out this world. And so every time, you know, my middle son will call me, Mom, can you come help? So I go in there and I look and I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right, let me see. Okay, it looks like this. You know, I start doing all, yeah, this is about right. And then I do it and it's wrong. I'm like, okay. I said, look, you know, my brain cells getting bigger. But in reality, I really don't know how to work the problem. So I'm like, And I look at him. He's like, we should call Colin. I'm like, that's our man. So I call Colin. It's like a little running game that we play. They never know when I don't know the answer because I always like play it off and then I'll have the right answer. And I did that in the beginning, that Jedi mind trick, because now they never know when I don't know the answer because they think I might be playing. But we'll call my oldest one in and he'll come and he'll help him out. But I had to stand and watch to make sure he wasn't being bossy or negative or anything like that. And I started to help him. Hey, these are the kind of questions you ask your brother so you're not giving him the answer. So he's like a little teacher. So he's like a little tutor. He gets paid $2 every time he helps his brother with a lesson. And so he's making his little money. So don't be afraid to bring those older children in to get the work done. Because Lord knows, when we were growing up and my friends growing up, the older kids were cooking, they were sewing, they were doing stuff for their younger siblings. They were, bathing them, all kinds of stuff. So if you can bathe your little younger brother, then you can help your brother with their ABCs, or your sister with, with her drawing or whatever. All right. Let's see. Do you have any maker books? Makerspace books? Yes. I have DIY make. Wait, is DIY maker or DIY make? Someone asked if I have the maker books, Makerspace. I have, and that's a series. I have that one on is DIY space or something. I think 2 videos ago, no, on my homeschool room tour, I showed one of those. I showed 2 or 3 of those books. I do have Make, the magazine, and there is a Makerspace not that far from us that we've gone to, but we've kind of like aged out of it. But I know the owner pretty well, and we're on the level of going to junkyards, like real junkyards, to get things. But I definitely recommend Make, the magazine, and for the books, it's DIY Space or DIY Maker, something like that. But if you go to my homeschool room tour video, I show those books there. Go to Pinterest. You don't have to buy any books. Go online, give yourself 30 minutes so you don't become overwhelmed, and look out how to start a makerspace or how to start a tinker box. Okay, just keep it easy peasy. How to start a makerspace under $15. How to start a makerspace for free. Start with free, okay, and then work your way up. Because a lot of things, like the director, the owner of this really big popular makerspace, everything, like when we talk, most of the stuff we're using is stuff in the house. It's just stuff. It's stuff in the house. It's finding solutions for old things, repurposing old things. Let's see. Yeah, kids like to do, yeah, there are kids who like to do everything themselves. So that can work to your advantage. It goes to also knowing your children's personalities. You have some kids who take, they initiate things and they're good to go. You have other kids, you could have the whole world right in front of them, every game, every tinker thing, every whatever, and they're like, oh, what do I do? They have to be spoon fed, whereas the other child would have built the Taj Mahal, in 30 minutes. And this child is like, they don't know. They don't even know how to start to begin. So Legos, not just for boys, get some Legos in, and you can teach a lot of math and grammar and writing with Legos. But Legos, that's a great thing to keep your kids busy. Anything that's getting them to build and be creative is going to buy you some time. So basically, before I wrap this up, the main thing, I told you the main takeaway was to plan. You have to plan it out. You can't fly by the seat of your pants for this. It's going to backfire on you. So take some time, Saturday or Sunday, or if you have a day during the week where it's, it's low, pressure, start with one thing. Like, start with the most troublesome, most needy child, all right? Start with that child first. And depending on their age, start working with them to be, to give them things to work on, so you can kind of see what they like. So if you got the busy box, show them some things in the busy box, show them a box so they get used to what that is, so they know when they see that, oh, that means I'm going to sit down and talk to them. Bring out the busy box. Okay, we're going to sit down for 10 minutes. They don't know what 10 minutes means. We're going to sit down and we're going to, play with everything in here, or 5 things in here. Just, we're going to play with this. And then, let them play. And after, 5, 6, 7 minutes, however long they sit down, take it away, put it away. You want to get them excited for it to, to come out. And when they see it coming out, they know, okay, I sit down and I play. That's all they need to know. So you want to make that association. Okay. So that's what the busy box for the younger ones. Or if you have any sensory tubs, that does require a little supervision. But if you have a couple of kids, the older kid can supervise the younger kid if they're playing with like the Robies balls or sand, or maybe the sandpaper letters, that might require a little supervision. So get those kids to do it together, so you can see what that looks like, and then they can get used to doing it together, so they're independent of you. And then with the classes and everything like that, if your child's never taken an online class, there are some free online classes. There are some classes that are like $5. But to get them used to being online, go to the Harvard, the MIT classes. They're kind of up there, and there are more that, not so lofty like that. But just to see how they interact with the computer. They might not be online types of kids, but they could be if they have the right subject and the right teacher. So it would be worth it to go on to OutSchool, think about what they're interested in, type that in and see what comes up, and make sure it has reviews, and then give it a try. Okay. I recommend that. So that's really what you're doing, guys. You're doing the redirection, the distractions, and then you're looping your kids. You got one kid, move on to something else, then the next kid, something else, and then you just rinse and repeat. Okay. In the end, if all else fails, your children will rebound in life. If you're having a bad day, a bad week, read to your babies. If nothing else, read to your children. They could be sitting upside down on the couch, hopping up and down, spinning around on the floor. They're listening. They don't have to be sitting still like this. They could be pounding on something with a pencil, whatever. Shut that out and just read. They're listening. They really are. Okay. So we don't want to overcomplicate this. Back in the days, in the 1800s to early 1900s, teachers had far less. They didn't have any air conditioning. They didn't have any heat. They had all the ages in that one schoolroom house. They had adversity at every turn. and they managed to get kids to write so elegantly, and to learn their grammar and their writing at a level that puts us to shame. Oh, my last one. If you're feeling like you can't do it, go watch my top 5 teacher inspired movies. These teachers, when you're starting to wallow in self-pity, have your little 5-minute pity party, go watch those movies. Those teachers had way less, a lot more adversity, and their children excelled in like a year or less. So don't think, if you're still figuring things out, or, you're pregnant, you got morning sickness, and you got a high school, you're worrying about, transcripts and grades, and the middle schoolers got the hormones, and the elementary student is just all over the place, can't read, can't write, it's okay. You can cover a lot, but you just got to know just to pull back and do just triage, just the basics, reading, writing, math, okay? Get your house in order first. Get the house in order. The mindset of your household. Remember the homeschool vision? I put out my homeschool planner. First thing I tell you about, what's your vision for your children, okay? Get that. Get your plan. And just know when the plan don't work, read. Just read to your kids. Go cook something. Go out, take a walk, get outside, and then call it a day. Tomorrow is another day, okay? It's not that serious. Your kids will be okay. All right. So if there are no more questions or comments, I think I covered everything. Oh, did I mention exercise? That's a big thing. Real quickly, and I'll end with this. My what I would do with my son, with my middle son who was on the spectrum, we would in the beginning work in 3-minute increments and then 5. But between those increments, I would have him do some type of quick exercise, okay? Because especially now that everyone's cooped up in the house, there are apps on the iPad or your cell phones. It's a little monster. I forget what it's called, but just put in like exercise apps for kids. And they're usually like 10 minutes or less. And it's like real quick. You can, and it's fun how they do it. And then the kids, and they do like maybe like 10 push-ups, 5 sit-ups, jumping jacks, knee ups, things like that. Boom, got the blood going, the circulation, and then they can go back to what they're doing. Also, for kids who might be on the spectrum or kids who just need a little bit more balance, maybe not, well, I shouldn't say balance. Really, children who need their working memory, they need to work on that. Actually, it's really for anyone, but it's called memory work. I used to watch those memory games, I think on the Science Channel or the History Channel. Everybody needs to work on them because who can remember phone numbers nowadays? Nobody remembers phone numbers, right? So we don't use our memory like we used to. So basic memory work, these are all free. You can go online. You can go to Pinterest, print out memory game. I used to do this for my son. We would do Plant vs. Zombies. He was into that. And we would print out all the characters, and we would play memory games. Like, you match 2 of the monsters or the vegetables or whatever, and that's a match. That's a memory game. It seems very basic, but those games back in the day were really it works your working memory. How much data information can you hold in your head while you do something else? That's a hard thing to do and to grow, right? You see those kids or people who can remember like 800 numbers at a time or 15 or 20 numbers at a time. You're like amazed. Well, it just starts with your working memory, okay? So that's something you can do that's for free. That's also a great morning boost, to get your morning going. Or something as a break for your child to exercise their brain, okay? So you exercise the body, you exercise your brain, you want to exercise, your soul, all aspects. But for the brain, that's pretty good. All right, I am freezing in here. I don't have my heat on because I'm out of plug. So if there are no more questions, I feel like I want to do a follow-up to this because I want to show you the work boxes. I want to show you my playlist, what's on my playlist. I want to show you how to do a profile of my children. and how I decide, okay, well, this one is strong in math, this one is weak, so we're gonna put them together. When they're playing games, I know my youngest one, he's a jokester, and he'll take forever to play. I can't put him with his middle brother because it'll take him 1 hour to play half a round of the game because they'll be talking and laughing and blah blah blah. The older one will be a little bit more like, okay, let's get it going. So I have to balance that. One child is, in the morning, he kind of, wakes up after an hour after breakfast. So, I know that in the morning, he's going to do like the games, really fun stuff. And then things that are harder for him, like writing, is going to be after lunch. So that's why you want to have that psychological personality profile of your kids so you can pair things up properly. All right, so I think that's it. Don't forget to get your free. I didn't know what to call this. I just called it a weekly planner because that's basically what it is, guys. And this is an old copy. I have the download is the final copy. But again, how you use this, you can just hole punch this, put it in a binder, or just use it as a sheet protector, but put all the sheets in and just pull out the one, that you're working on. Or alternately, you can cut each day of the week and just staple them all together. But it has breaks built in and the time that they're going to be working. So for your older students, say they're working on grammar. Okay, so today's lesson, grammar. And then the assignment is read pages 1 through 5 and I have all those rhyming books. Antonyms and synonyms, and then read one page in your daily grammar book. And then here could be watch a brain pop video on sentence structure, just tie it in, whatever. But, each one they have to do, and then they complete it. Okay. So they start off with like the little grammar antonym synonym book, and they're going to work for however long you tell them. It's going to be 10 minutes, 15, you choose how long they can work. Okay. When they're done, they exit out or fill it in, and then they go take their break. What break? Because you don't want them coming up to you, Mom, what am I going to do? They're going to mark here all their possible breaks. They can probably just do it in like an order. So maybe if they have 4 breaks, they can write 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the order they're going to do the breaks if you want to do that. So they'll choose whatever break they're going to do, and then they'll go to the next time interval where they start working. Okay. And then, so that would be like the daily daily grammar page. That's a 1-day thing, or Evan Moore daily grammar. And then, then they finish that. Then they go on to the break and whatever that break was, and then so on and so forth. So that way, they can start, getting some independence and taking responsibility for their learning. And then, I've used student planners. I've tried so hard with all my kids. It just doesn't work. And just having, something like this that's big enough for them to write all of their handwriting works best for my kids. All right. So that is free. That is in the description box down below. Let me know if you have problems accessing it, because I just uploaded it right before I went live with all the dogs barking in my ears. And then also I linked down below my video on homeschooling with multiple ages, and I actually show you physical things to do. Okay. So all the things I was talking about with my hands, I actually show you in the video, and I need to update that video anyway, because there are more resources out there to share. All right. So that's it, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. This weekend, I will have up the next poll for the next hot topic. And then after that, I think it's Thanksgiving. So I might take off. I might just jump on. You might just have a free for all, talk about whatever you want, bring something to drink, something to eat. And we can talk about homeschool myths, or just if you just want to vent or just talk about homeschool life, I'm open to whatever. So it's to me, it's all about just having a community. So I'm out of here. I think I said everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next share. Peace out. Oh, hey, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't shout all of you guys out. Cindy, Mrs. Smith, Homeschool Mama Tees, Miles Along the Way. Oh, Chantel, are you still on, Chantel? You're requesting to come on. I'm gonna let you come on. I didn't even see that. Hopefully you're still there, Chantel. So we have a lady, a homeschool mom, I'm assuming, who wants to join in on the live. I didn't see that because I don't scroll on Instagram. Hey, Pray Love, Homeschool PP1, Crystal, Tippy Toe, The Crown Mama, Adina, Nadia, all of you guys. Okay, so I think Chantel might be gone, or she might be trying to join. Okay, so I'm sorry, Chantel. I'm going to remember. Y'all remind me on IG to keep scrolling through all of the names. But for the next hot topic, I'll be sure to look. And if you want to jump in for a little, one-on-one live, that will be great. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. I'll see y'all later. Peace. Oh, Chantel is unable to join. Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry I didn't see that, love. So we'll do it. Come back next Friday. And I might go on this weekend. No promises, but definitely next Friday. Now that I know that people are requesting, I don't know how many of those I missed. I'll start scrolling through all of my IG comments, okay? All right, guys, let me get out of here. We're about to go watch Mandalorian and eat some, I don't know, Olive Garden food. I don't like Olive Garden, though, so hopefully I don't have that. All right, peace.